Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. Absolutely love that lap song, that smokiness. It's literally like sitting by a campfire. Can't beat that. We're in Florida, maybe you can. But for all you people that are in the cold weather, campfire wouldn't be bad. Some fireside would be better. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It's 2022. And I'm excited. We're in January. We have an entire year ahead of us. And today we're going to be looking at predictions. What's going to happen in our market, both video and photo? Where is it going to go? What will be the catalyst or the driving forces for change? We're going to get into it. I want to know your thoughts before the end of this video. Go into the comment area below. If you don't like something I'm saying, let me know. If you agree, let me know also. And if you have other ideas or predictions, put them down there. We all want to hear about it. So before I get into it, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go pick them up. They're free. Go to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. 10 tips on making tax sharp images, or you can pick up my prologue to this book right back here. How to create a digital Fort Knox, backing up your digital life. Once again, JCristina.com/books. So let's start out with Olympus. What is my prediction? I personally think that Olympus will be coming out with a brand new camera. And that camera is going to be the catalyst for either failure or success. If it does well, I think they're going to be around for another few years. If it doesn't do well, I think that means the end of Olympus or OMD. I don't think that they're just going to keep on throwing good money after bad and trying to make it happen. I think that the company they sold it to said, listen, we're going to buy it out for this cheap price. We're going to try to make a go of it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This is what happens. That company that bought it out is the exact same company that ended up buying out Vio from Sony. Now, they did good with it, but they are not a company that's going to just sit around and just hope for a decade. It's just not going to happen. They'll cut their losses and say that's it. So I do think that a new camera will be coming out with some new lenses from OMD. How it does, you guys are going to be the judge of that if you buy it or not. Now, moving into Panasonic. Panasonic is one of those companies that I love to hate. I use Panasonic on a daily basis. Now, you know, I am a Canon shooter, but on my professional work, some of the companies that I work for do use like EVA 1s and whatnot. You know, we know that Panasonic has absolute crap autofocus, but what they do have is amazing video. So I do think that we're going to see another or a update to the EVA. So we'll probably see like an EVA 2 or something like that in 2022, possibly 2023. That is really good when it comes to professional broadcasting and whatnot. But on the lower end side, or let's say the professional side that's not into video, into photo, we will see the GH6 come out. That is going to be really great for a lot of people that have been waiting for it, that have the GH4, GH5, GH5S, so on and so forth. They want to see the update. I think they're going to see the update in 2022. Also, we might see possibly or definitely hear about the Panasonic S2H or an S1HS or a whatever they want to call it, but a successor to the S1H. I think we're going to hear about it, maybe not see it in 2022, probably 2023, but I do think that will be coming because it is the best full frame camera that they have that is selling just a ton of them, or whenever they can produce them, they sell them. So that's really good. I wish they would move from their horrible contrast detect autofocus system and make it dual. So you have both contrast detect as well as phase detect in the camera so we can get autofocus right. Finally, for Panasonic. Now moving into Canon. Now, you know I'm a Canon shooter. What I predict is seeing a Canon EOS R1 this year. Before the end of the year, probably third, fourth quarter, we will see that Canon EOS R1, which will be the successor to, let's say, or the replacement to their professional line of DSLR cameras. So the 1DX will most likely be the last professional, in quote, DSLR that Canon makes. Now, does that mean that Canon will stop making DSLRs? I do not believe so. Why? Because they're cheap to make, number one, and there's less chips involved, number two, and they can still make a lot of money with them. There's no reason to stop making something when it's making you money, just because the community says everything needs to be mirrorless today. That is not necessarily the case. We will see companies like Pentax, which I won't really go into too much in this video, but we will see them come out with new cameras, maybe one this year, but it will remain as a company that's doing that niche product. And I think that that is good for them. I think they should stay in that niche because that's where they can make money, where all the rest are kind of moving away from it into mirrorless. Now, with Canon, I do see that the EOS M series has made them a lot of money, but I don't think that it's going to stay around. Now, they will most likely discontinue the Canon EOS M series. Now, does that mean that that type or style of camera will go away? Most likely not. What Canon will try to do is move people into RF glass. Now, the only way to do that is to take the Canon EOS M and convert it into something that will receive RF glass. The reason behind that is they want people to migrate into RF so that they can create that one glass ecosystem, let's say, where everything uses the RF glass. They will continue most likely to make a few lenses that are on the EF side. They're not going to do away with it because they'll continue with DSLRs. But RF is where it's at. And to have multiple pieces of glass out there that they're R&D and putting out there, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think that they will create some type of camera that will be, let's call it a bridge camera, to move people into the R series. Now, what will that camera be? The camera will most likely be the Canon EOS R7. So it will be the replacement of the 7D. And it will be an APS-C sensor, but will most likely use full frame lenses, the RF glass. So they won't create their own little segment or their own little line of APS-C glass. They'll have it used just like what Sony does, their RF glass. I think it'll be a smart thing to do. And once again, it will act as a bridge and move people into the R series. That is what they want. Now, another bridge camera will be coming out from Canon, and that will be the EOS R5C, C standing for cinema. Once again, bridge. Why do I call it a bridge camera? Because it will bring people that are video-centric, let's say, into their C series. Their C series, the C100, 200, 300, 500, C700 is a video-centric camera, a professional-grade video camera from Canon. So to move people that really want video out of the R series into the C series also makes sense because there's more moolah in the C series. It's not cheap. They're expensive cameras, but they're very specific and dedicated to video. How is that? Active cooling, number one. So the cameras actually have fans in them. And I do think that the Canon EOS R5C will also have a fan built into it. It will not be a sealed or fully enclosed weather sealed camera. It just won't. It will have that inlet as well as exhaust duct and the fan inside to blow on the sensor. I also predict that companies like Canon as well as Nikon will open up their RF as well as their Z mount so that there's more third-party interaction, more third-party lenses out there. And I think they will also put out more consumer-grade lenses for those cameras. And the reason being is that these really expensive camera lenses are just not affordable for the average Joe out there. I'm Joe. Average me, right? They're just not affordable. And to have all of these lenses out there and fill out a professional type of bag is great. But how about all of the people that just want a cheaper lens, something that does a good enough job? And we all know we're currently living in the good enough era. So having a good enough lens, I think, is smart for them, and they will sell more of them. Now, moving into Sony, we know that Sony has a ton of cameras out there. They have their professional grade, which would be like their A9 Mark II now. They have their Alpha 1. And then, of course, you have all of your A7s. We have the brand new A7S III. We have the A7 Mark IV. So they're pretty well-rounded. But what I think that is going to take a hit in 2022 is their A6 line, all right? Their 6000 line. There's been a lot of discontinued A6000s out there, and I think they're going to slowly whittle them down and remove some of them off the market. Why? Because Sony is a company that has really been affected by the shortages that have happened over 2021. They have been deeply affected. We saw that end of year 2021 reports. Sony just was massively affected by the shortages. And I think that that will continue. They are a massive company, but they have irons in so many fires that they really need these chips. And they have to make the hard choices of which ones to produce. Are they making the PS5s? Are they making the Alpha series, the lower end stuff? Are they doing the professional grade cameras? Where are they putting all of these chips? Where are they putting the ICs? I do believe this trend will continue in 2022. Sony will be affected more than any of the other camera manufacturers, besides the ones that rely on them. And I'll get into that in just a second. Now, if we look at Nikon, Nikon is doing really well compared to how they were in 2021 and 2020. They've really moved up a lot, and they're starting to perk up, let's just say. It's like someone added water to the seed, and now they're starting to sprout again, whereas they were really withering on the vine for quite some time. Now, the Z9 is one of those cameras that perked them up. But the problem that I have with that camera is there's not a lot out there. When a couple of hundred are made, they sell a couple of hundred. There's a lot of orders for them, but they can't produce them. They can't make them. That means they can't sell them. That means they can't make money. So Nikon is a company that's going to have to decide what cameras they make going into 2022 that they can make, that can make them money. Because the Z9, while it will make them a lot of money, eventually, in 2022, we're going to continue to experience these shortages. So they're going to have to buckle down and say, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to discontinue more of our lower end stuff like a Z50 and maybe get rid of the Z50 and stick with the ZFC that really did well? Maybe come into a ZFC Mark II. That's a possibility because the ZFC was really received amazingly well. So I could see them doing that. And this moves into the point that maybe some of these camera manufacturers are going to look back into consumer grade product and not just professional or higher end or very expensive product, because that is a problem. It is a major problem. We might hear some rumors about a Z6 Mark III and a Z7 Mark III, but I would say almost 100% with certainty we will not see those cameras in 2022 at all. The soonest would be 2023, in my personal opinion. Now, next comes Fujifilm. Where I see them going is with a larger sensor. I think that the 100 megapixel sensor is fantastic on the GFX line, but I think we're going to see maybe a 150 megapixel sensor. It's going to get larger, in my opinion. Does that happen in 2022 or moving into 2023? I'm not sure, but we will see that. Not in the too distant future. Also, we are going to see the long-awaited, finally to come out, the X-H2. Now, the H2, a lot of people have been waiting for, just like myself, to see where they go with it, because Fujifilm, I think, is an amazing brand that's kind of like that dark horse that sits there in the background. They know exactly damn well what they're doing. They didn't go into the full frame mirrorless bloodbath that there was in 2020, 2021. They were smart about it. They stuck with their APS-C line, their X line, and moved into medium format, the larger sensor, right? I do believe down the road, we're going to see majority of professional cameras becoming medium format, just because it just simply makes sense. As the processing power gets greater and greater, having a larger sensor is usually better. Bigger is better in most cases. If all things are the same, I'd rather have larger pixels than smaller pixels and more of them. So I think medium format is the future in, quote, professional photography, but that might be down the road a little bit. And Fujifilm for sure has a leg up over all the other brands out there. Now, I do believe that the X-H2 will be coming out possibly mid-year, possibly third quarter, but will there be a successor to the X Pro 3? Will there be a successor to the X-T4? I'm not really sure, but I think a lot of this is going to depend on Sony. And will Fujifilm be able to get those sensors from Sony or not? we will see what ends up happening with that. So like I said, in 2022, I think we're going to continue to see shortages, and this is going to force the camera manufacturers to decide which cameras to make and which cameras to discontinue. And I think we're going to see a lot of camera manufacturers discontinue product. It doesn't have to be cameras, but it might be cameras and lenses and other accessory products because there's simply not enough of the source materials to create them. So we will see a lot of nixing of product come in 2022. But the consumers are looking for cameras that they can afford. And as of right now, the cameras are just so expensive that a lot of people are not even buying them. Even if they could get them, they don't want them. All companies realize that there is a maximum price that they can charge for anything. And that price is the maximum price that anyone will pay for the product. Once they stop paying because it's too high, they need to go down on the price. I do believe that the camera manufacturers are going to look into more prosumer cameras as well as prosumer lenses in 2022. Once again, to get money into their coffers. They've been bleeding money for quite some time, and they need to make it. How are they going to make it? I think prosumer is where it's at. So what is my prediction for 2022 for this industry? Well, I think there's going to be some positives and some negatives to happen in 2022, but the totality of it will show a downturn. And the reason being is I think there are going to be continued shortages. And as I said before, Sony is going to be affected the most by it, but then also the companies that rely on Sony. Sony is a company that's going to have to decide if they are going to keep or hoard the chips for themselves or sell the chips to companies like Nikon, Fujifilm, etc. This is something that's going to be a big thing for 2022. And if Sony decides to hoard those chips and keep them for themselves to expand their lineup, we're going to see companies like Fujifilm and Nikon get hit dramatically in 2022. I do believe that the number of professional photographers and videographers in 2022 will continue to decline as they have been for 2020, 2021, and going forward. There's going to be less and less of us, the professionals out there. Now, that's not a bad thing. If you are a professional in the video or photographic field, you'll be able to command a higher dollar amount because there'll be less of us. People are going to look at it as not the, wow, this is what I want to do when I grow up type of job. People are not going into photography as much as they used to be in the early days of it when we moved from film into digital. All of a sudden, when we went into digital and things really, it was, let's say, the heyday, 2005, 2008, right around there, and things blew up. And there was cameras being produced every 6 months. There was a new one. And Canon side, there was a 10D, 20D, 30D, 40D, 7D. It was continuous, 5D, 5D Mark 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. It was crazy. Every 6 months, there was a new camera and we were buying them. That has slowed down basically to a trickle at this point. And as it has slowed down, we've seen that the influx of new photographers, as we did back when we moved from film to digital, is starting to also dwindle away. There's less and less of us. Once again, it is good for us that are in the market, but in totality, it's bad for the market because the camera manufacturers are going to make less gear, period. They just can't create all of this expensive gear. Who is going to buy it? Once again, my prediction where I see prosumer ramping up and professionals staying on keel, let's say. So I want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen in 2022? Where is the video and photo market going? Where is this industry headed? I want to know from you. In the comment area below this video, put your thoughts. Anything that you have to say, put down there. Let's have these discussions. Once again, my videos are just a beginning, not an end to what we're talking about here. And when we're done talking in the comment area on YouTube, head over to community.JCristina.com. Once again, community.JCristina.com. That is our creative Discord server. That is a place where hundreds and hundreds of photographers, videographers, tech heads talk all day long, 24/7, 365 days a year. There's a lot of brilliant people over there, a lot smarter than me. If you have any questions, you can always go there. There is a channel over there for just about everything. Once again, photo, video, and tech. And finally, if you enjoyed this video even a little bit, throw it a thumbs up. That would be really helpful. Also, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so and click this little bell icon here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.